So, there's been a lot of talk lately about what in the world is Xbox doing. I mean, clearly they're working like crazy people behind the scenes to try and do something. I'm sure they have some kind of idea, right? Like, there's been like speculation, there's been all kinds of different things going on. I mean, obviously, putting your exclusive games on the competing platform that's still trying to run your platform and a business isn't the best or brightest idea. But with that being said, it's like, Xbox fans hold on to anything. And listen, I'm an Xbox fan in that I have, I love Xbox hardware. I own a ton of Xbox games, thousands, and, I spend a lot of money on it. I don't want to see it fail. I also don't want to be held hostage in terms of, like I never want to be a PC gamer. It's just not my thing. God bless those that want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to mess with stuff like that. I don't want to play against PC players. I don't want to game on a PC. So, if I wanted to, I would. So basically, from rumors that we've heard, some kind of PC hybrid, I think that's kind of impossible. You either have a PC or you don't. And to have a Steam store, you would need to have a completely open box because Steam wouldn't allow it any other way. With that being said, so Microsoft would basically be saying you have to buy this Xbox branded PC if you want to access your Xbox games in the future, which I think is complete and utter BS. Like I said, basically holding people hostage. And of course, they wouldn't be able to subsidize such a thing, and it's not just the 30% loss that they take on the games. It's, why would developers bother with an Xbox version at all if they would just say, well, save themselves some time and money by, just doing a Steam version or whatever. So with that being said, this news really kind of puts everybody in their place. I'm Crap Gamer, of course. This is Crap Gamer Reviews. I'm doing daily video game content. I try to be fun yet informative. So if you guys like that, please leave a like, share it out, and maybe even subscribe. So a lot of people were kind of excited by this bit of news, this bit of information, whatever the case may be. At the same point in time, we have to kind of look at it and just say, that might not work out the way that fans think. And the reason why I'm saying that is quite simply put, it's very easy to kind of look at this and go, oh, well, wouldn't we be able to play PlayStation games on Xbox if it was like a PC, the Steam stuff? But according to Jez Gordon and other people that we've heard from recently, Sony can actually block their games from Microsoft rumors PC Xbox hybrid, so keep expectations in check. He says, quote, I know for a fact PlayStation can do this if they feel inclined, so keep expectations in check. Is my only message. I don't care if it is 2 years out. I'm still going to comment on the future because it's my job. So again, we've heard this from other people as well. It's like Sony's in charge of their own games and things, so they can choose where they're available and where they're not available. And so people that were looking at this as a win kind of situation, and that's really kind of I guess a bump in the road for you guys. You know what I mean? It's already bad enough when you see Xbox fans who clearly, I don't even know what the ulterior motives would be for claiming to be an Xbox fan at this particular time. But when you look at it, to me, it's just like, what is there to cheer for being an Xbox fan? Like, okay, they spent over $100 billion buying the biggest publishers and studios. They are doing these things where they are putting everything on PlayStation. They're making us wait to get these updates, like in like Hellblade 2 and things like that. They're making things specifically to try and appeal to PlayStation gamers, like this Gears remaster or whatever. Like, we already had that on Xbox. So they're doing that solely for PlayStation gamers, right? And it's just one of those things where I think a lot of people kind of have these weird expectations, or they think Microsoft is like blazing into the future. But let's blaze you guys into this future. Let's say Sony blocks these, right? So here's this hybrid that Microsoft can't afford to or won't be able to subsidize. So you're paying $800 to $1,000 for this thing, right? And then Sony's just going to come out with a standard traditional console. It's probably going to be $500-600, and it's going to be able to play optimized Xbox games and optimized PlayStation games. And don't forget, by this time, every game that launches, quote unquote, on Xbox will launch day one on PlayStation as well. So I know some people will probably be like, oh, but Game Pass, again, I often wonder how Microsoft will make any kind of money off of Game Pass without a console install base. Like, how do you accomplish that? Because in my opinion, when you look at this quote unquote next Xbox, assuming it gets even made at this point, why would people bother to even pick that up, right? Like I said, if you're held hostage by your the amount of library games in your library, you might, okay. You might go, okay, well, I've got hundreds, 800 games. For me, I've got, 2,000 digital games and hundreds of physical ones. But, and even I would just be like, no, hell no. My Series X will be it. And when that goes up or whatever, I just will be done with Xbox in general. If I want to play something on Xbox or an Xbox game, I'll just, pick it up on PlayStation from here on out. And, I'm sure Microsoft will be perfectly fine with that. Although they lose my Game Pass subscription, my pay to play online, all the microtransactions, the 30% for every game from third party or that I buy from them on their store. They lose all this stuff, millions and millions, if not billions of dollars. So yeah, I don't really understand exactly the thought process behind it, but it's like, let's just say they come out with the next Xbox and let's just say $800, right? Who's gonna buy that, right? You look over, you see a PS6, it's $500. You look over, you see this weird PC hybrid, no exclusives, no real reason to own a thing for $800. Like, who's gonna I think the Xbox is really in danger of two things, right? So you're going to see a situation where developers, if this thing does indeed play PC versions of games, where developers aren't going to bother to make Xbox versions straight up, and they're just going to go, oh, well, they can just get the PC version. Or you're going to see a situation where Xbox just gets absolutely annihilated in terms of sales so bad that, they probably just can the whole thing relatively quickly. I personally think, within 2 years after launching whatever this next thing is, they'll probably just shut down the hardware stuff altogether. They'll probably keep it running, but very few updates or anything like that. And I clearly don't think that they'll be able to, do anything specific to get people to go and enjoy the game. The games. For me, it's just a really tenuous situation as a fan of Xbox. And when you see that people are kind of looking away, or kind of looking away from Xbox, it's like you don't really know what to expect from the brand after that. People are very much in this weird type of situation where they don't know what Microsoft is going to do. It's like Microsoft is pretty quiet. Maybe they come out and blow everybody away with something. Maybe they decide to take a loss on it. But I still think if you're doing something that's quote unquote a console, but it also allows PC games, what incentive is there for developers to make things for your specific console? That's always been kind of the thing that that I would say it makes. There's a whole bunch of other things thrown in, the wrench is thrown into this as well. It's like the online play, right? Is there going to be dedicated console only online? Because can you imagine, it's just like you buy something from the stand and you're thrown into these competitive matches with people able to hack and cheat and use keyboard and mouse and all this kind of stuff. As a console gamer, that's the worst nightmare. I don't know any console gamer that's like, hey, throw me in against PC gamers. If anything, I see people going, let me have the ability to not play with PC gamers, and they want that to be taken out of these games. So again, I think it's a strange situation for sure. I think that what we're going to see is, a very, very interesting time for Microsoft and for gamers in general. And at the same point in time, why even buy the hardware? Just, it doesn't make sense. If somebody can make it make sense to me outside of some people going, oh well, Game Pass, I get to rent my games for $250 a year. Okay, but even that, if you have PC stores on your platform, doesn't that make it a PC then? So wouldn't Game Pass have to come down in price by half? Right? Because PC Game Pass is $10 less than the Game Pass for Ultimate on console. Why would Microsoft give up all the revenue? You know, it doesn't make sense for them wanting to do that stuff if they wanted to stay in the hardware game. With that being said, let me know what you guys think. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.